Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everyone. You can have whatever you want. I know that sounds like a very basic statement, but it's at your fingertips and you don't even realize it. And it's all about energy, your energy, and where you put your energy, where you're wasting energy. And that could be holding you back from moving forward. That could be holding you back from abundance, making money, and all of that. And we're gonna break that down, how this all works in terms of your energy. He's somebody that harnesses the power of that and moves lives forward, coaches them. He's got so many great programs, and he's mastered it. And I'm using that intentionally because this company's called Masternomics, and he's back with us. He's the chief coach, and he's Martin Glin on the program. Hey, Martin, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well, feeling good, doing good, thinking positive, and just pushing constantly in elevation mode.
I am always amazed at what energy can do and how it's such a cliche, but it's so true that we waste energy. It's my belief as the journey goes on, you only got so much. You only got so much. And, when you start taking, let's say it's like a gas tank in your body of energy. Yep. And I don't mean like, energy to run a race. I'm also talking the energy that we send to people. That's a type, quantum physics, what we're talking here. And when you have people in your life that may be toxic, not serving you, not supporting you, you're throwing that energy in their direction. And you could be taking that and using that energy over here and making money or manifesting a dream house, whatever it might be. You feel that way?
Yes. Yeah. You're dead on point. The thing is, and we could go so many ways with that, right? Because, there's intention and then there's attention. Okay. Both of them require, it's our energy. So if we think about, let's stay on a business aspect, right?
Sure.
People that are in business or aspiring to be in business, the ones that are successful, they stay on their intention. Intention is like what we aim, it's our goal, what we want to bring about. So to stay focused on your intention, your purpose, your goal, you have to be careful where you give your attention to, because everything is energy. And to bring something about, it takes energy. And so we live in this world where we're constantly bombarded with things that are taking our attention. And that can be politics. If you turn on the news, and it's always something every day, right? And if you give too much time or attention to it, all your energy is sapped and we become drained. And that happens to us in everyday life, and it happens to us in business. So we're literally becoming drained, and therefore we have no energy to put towards what we really want to manifest. So we got to be careful where we put our attention to, because, where your attention goes, your energy flows. And I like how you said that. Yeah, that's true. We only have so much energy. Now, the reality is there's an infinite source, okay? But for our time on this planet, we know we'll transition. So inside this vessel that we call our body, we have so much time and we have so much energy, right? So we have to be careful and mindful of how we're using that. And so to create money or wealth, we have to use that focus and use our energy on what we really want to bring about. Because when you don't do that, your attention goes all over the place. And you had a goal at the beginning of the day. You're supposed to make these 5 phone calls. And guess what? You was on social media giving your attention to things that don't matter, right?
Yeah.
And what I mean by don't matter, I like to point out, is they do not matter in the realm of what you are manifesting or what you're trying to bring about, whether that's a monetary goal, whether that's whatever goal. So those things aren't going to help you bring that about. So we got to be careful where we put our attention.
And because you had an intention.
Yes.
And, what I got a picture of, Martin, is you know your destination. You see it, whether
Yeah.
it's the daily destination or the eventual destination.
Hmm.
You're in the car. Now
Yeah.
you're driving down the road. Now, car is swerving to the left, swerving to the right, swerving. And what is the swerving?
Yeah.
It's, I get stuck on some reels on social. Then I'm over
Yeah.
here. Now somebody called me up and they got an issue and doesn't even, I want to help them, but it's not
Right.
what I need. Now this
Right.
other person, now that other person, now where did your car go? Maybe it
Hmm.
never even got to the intended, i.e. intention,
Right.
destination for the day.
Yes.
Or if you keep rinse and repeat every day of the car swerving down the road, you're never going to get to where you intended to go.
Exactly. Exactly. And one thing that I learned early in life, this applies to life and business, period. The most powerful word is no.
Yeah.
And most people don't know how to just say no. And the reason why we don't say no is because we care about ourselves less and we care about more what that person is going to think. Okay. We have to care about ourselves more. So we have to be able to say no. You go through it, I go through it. We have a meeting plan, or we're focused on this business. We've leveraged this amount of money to do what we need to do.
Mhm.
And then guess what? Somebody calls with an idea, a business idea. Hey, Martin, hey, I got this great way that we can make money, or you could do this if you invest in that. Now, could could money be made in that idea? Yes, but guess what? It's going to take energy, right? With every new idea, there's energy. And so what a lot of people do, and a lot of people do this in business, right? They don't know how to say no, right? You're saying no because I'm focused on what I'm doing. And no might just mean no right now, but let me get this done and then we'll revisit that maybe 6 months, maybe a year from now. But we have to learn how to say no, because when we say no, we're creating a barrier and we're saving our energy and we're monitoring where our attention goes, right? Because we got to
Mhm.
monitor where our energy flows. And the thing about money, most people say, well, money, you know, it comes from people, but it really comes by way of people. But money is really created by ideas. And an idea, I could say I have this great idea of this company I want to start, and it's called Uber, right? And I describe it, and
And
what
never,
happens
Martin, it'll never work. That's
is,
that.
right. Yeah, exactly. Now there's somebody said that, but
I'm
guess
sure.
what? Once I push this idea and I expound on it and break it down enough, right? Did I really need money to generate the money? No. People say, "Wow, that idea is so good. Hey, I got $1 million for it. Hey, I got 100 million for it." Right? And so once we realize that, if we're going through a financial challenge, or for those who are struggling in business, you have to realize that money comes from ideas. So you have to just become more creative with your ideas. Once you become creative with the idea, you've got to present it to people, right? Because you need their attention on your purpose or intention to generate what we call money, or what we call wealth, right? So that's how we're creating with what we have, with the energy that we have. So we have to focus on what we have, package it well. The better you package it is based on how much you believe in it. So people put their money in things that they believe in, but you got to believe in it first. And if you really believe in it, you're going to package and present it well. And that's how we create wealth.
Mhm. You know, I was with somebody last night. Had dinner with somebody. Um, very much respect them. Very successful in many areas, and he revealed some things, and he is totally on board for the energy thing.
Mhm.
And he said, and I'm aware of this, but I wasn't aware of all of this. He met somebody about 7 years ago. And in the beginning, it was sort of going to start as a relationship with this person.
Mhm.
And this person said, you know what? You don't realize what you have and everything that's within you, your
Mhm.
charisma, your drive. You can take your business, and his business was fine at the time, to
Mhm.
other levels. I'm
Mhm.
going to help you.
Mhm.
I'm going to push you forward.
Mhm.
This was just a person. no skills, just a very fired up person. They had a
Right.
relationship for a period of time, and I was aware of all of that, and it was good, and it ended. But he revealed last night that, and by the way, he has since elevated his business, and it is growing more and more and more. And
Mm,
he said it all started from her saying that statement to him and focusing his attention and energy in the direction of success. He
mm.
needed, his car was swerving down the road, and she got him focused on it. And she was kind of the one that would say no for him. He would
Right.
throw it to her, sort of like an assistant. Again, she's not even in the picture, but that was the catalyst. And he is so focused on success that
Mm.
he's done what you have said: put up the blocks, put up the
Yeah.
boundaries. There was a time where, he would party a little bit here and do that. No, now it's folk. And he told me things yesterday. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you were doing that. I didn't know you were doing
Yeah.
that. Like
Yeah.
elevating goes, I don't even know how I got to this point. It
Yeah.
has to
Yeah.
be where I focus my energy and attention.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's the key. You have to fall in love with the process, right? And it's kind of like, when you were, if somebody's been single and they were single and they were all over the place, but they're saying I want a wife or husband or whatever. With you got to get serious if you want that. So you got to focus on yourself
Yep.
and how you would match that partner. So your energy has to be aligned with what you intend to bring about, right? And so business, I always say business is just like a marriage. You're married to your business. If you got a business partner, this is a business marriage, right?
Yep.
How am I relating with my business partner? But everything is our intention. Everything is our energy. And that word no, man, it's so powerful. It's so powerful when I'm coaching people and I'm talking to them. That is what a lot of people struggle with because they say, "Well, I feel so bad. I want to help them." And I say, "That's true." I say, I want to help the world, but the reality is we have to help people help themselves. So therefore, the best thing when someone calls and it's usually a money call, right? And someone, they need money for this or that. It's not that I don't want to do it, but the word budget helps me say no. So therefore I say, wow, I mean, I understand that, but that's not in my budget. So that way I'm letting them know, I mean, I'd like to do it, but it's not in my budget. See, if I go outside of my budget, now your problem is becoming my problem. Right. Then we both got a problem. We don't need to be like that. And so, it's our understanding of controlling where our energy goes and our attention and using that word no to help people because no can be powerful for both parties.
Sure.
I've received no when I walked in the bank. I've received no when I was doing whatever. And that no, what it did propelled me to hone in what I really want, my intention, and get serious. So it goes both ways. Like there's always we live in this universe that has nothing but energy, but what we do with it is based on us. And if you truly are want to create a business or a lifestyle, then you're going to have to control where your attention goes because it's all taking your energy, and we can't allow energy vampires to
Mm.
drain us.
I don't speak in analogies, but I'm getting so many today. And I had with this gentleman I mentioned steak last night,
Hmm.
and what I'm getting here is trim the fat, trim the
Mm.
fat on the meal. And the
Yeah.
fat is the stuff that's around you that's taking your energy away. And to your point, no is a complete sentence.
Hmm.
You don't need to explain. Oh, no, I can't do that because blah, blah, blah. No, no, I'm not able to. And that's
Right.
it. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
amazing. And I've started doing it in my life. Got to be honest, Martin. Like we're on a
Yeah.
page here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Even in the last few months, I've been saying no and I process it. Somebody will ask, can you do this? Or do you want to get together? And I'll think, do I really want to?
Right.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
You know, why do I want to? And many of us will say yes for a number of reasons, but it comes from a place of lack. For
Yes.
example, you may say somebody might invite you out and you're
Yeah.
like, I really don't want to go with them, but this is your mind. I really don't want to go out and hang out with them, but I feel if I don't, then they're not going to be there when I need them.
Right.
Or I want to provide value. I want to show value to them. So
Yeah.
I'm beat. I don't have time to help somebody move. I would love to. This is the bad week for me. I'm
That's
just going
right.
to do it because blah blah blah.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
doesn't support you. Yes, you want to help them. Maybe not this time. Maybe you've done it a million times before, but not this time. You need
Right.
to think, process, and identify why you're giving your energy. I don't think we put value in our energy.
We don't. We don't. We as people really don't value ourselves. It's the saddest thing in the world. We we we've been taught that to value yourself or to put time and energy in yourself is selfish, right?
Yes.
We've been taught that that's selfish. Throw that word out the window and it's self-love, right? We have to love ourselves first. If you don't love yourself, you definitely are not going to love anyone else. And so, we have to be firm and, no, I'm not able to do that. And it does come from a lack mindset when we start to feel bad, right? That's something in us, right? And what we had to realize is you obviously have value, or whoever would not have picked up the phone and called you. So don't get
Yes.
inside your inside your head and start beating yourself up. You start self-sabotaging yourself.
That's such a great thought.
Yeah, yeah.
It really is a great thought. There's a reason they called you because they saw value in you.
Thank you.
Not that
Yeah,
they're using you, but
yeah.
but and you want to help, but if
Mhm.
you can't, and your reason is value with the energy, that yeah, I got to focus on this today. I can't focus on that today. Just
Right,
gonna have to tell them no.
right.
I had an epiphany about 3 years ago,
Hmm.
and full disclosure, up until that point, I have never gone to a restaurant alone. It's
Wow.
embarrassing to admit it. Never did. Always around when somebody life changes happen. Um,
Mm,
so I'm here, and it's about 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, I had some work to do, continuing, and I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna go to the Applebee's up the road. I walk
mm,
in, and it's like I feel a little bit like a loser
yeah.
because I'm just walking in by myself. And yeah, sure, there's other people by themselves around the bar area. So I just sat down, ordered myself something to eat, got myself one beer. That epiphany that was the best meal I ever had.
Mm, mm,
Why?
mm.
Because I focused on the flavor.
Yes,
I
yes.
enjoyed every sip of that beer.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
that was my wake up that when you do things with other people, and that's all good,
yeah.
but you're giving your energy and attention
Right,
to them. It's like
right.
you're giving 50%. So you really, really can focus on the meal
That's
and
right.
your thoughts and being in that moment.
Yeah,
So my next goal is to
yeah,
travel alone. Yes, I've been on a
yeah.
plane, no problem, do my own thing, but I meet up with others at the destination,
Right, right,
whatever it is.
right, right.
My goal for 2025, and it's going to happen, is
Mm.
I'm going somewhere by myself and enjoying me and
Yeah,
not giving my
beautiful,
attention to
beautiful.
others.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's that self-care, that's that self-love.
Yeah.
And I definitely know what you're talking about because I do it a lot. At least once a week, I go to a restaurant bar by myself, and I have the best internal realization
Yes.
conversations with myself, and I feel good because I'm not trying to impress anyone. I'm at peace, and we all need to do that.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Inner peace.
Inner peace. Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's all again goes back to the energy. You
Yes.
only have so much in a day. So,
Mm,
at the
mm,
end of the day, when people say, "Oh, I'm tired," oof, I don't know what it is.
yeah.
It's probably because you gave your energy to others, and
Yeah.
maybe that was good, that was
Yeah.
intentional, or not, or
Right.
people sucked your energy. And
Yeah.
I believe, and I'm realizing this.
Yeah.
Those people. You could
Yeah.
be You could be. I was in a meeting
Yes.
Tuesday, and a bunch of people I know and one person I didn't know, and they were talking about some challenges they have, and that's I'm always a fixer. Let me help you out. What can I do? What can I do? Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot going on. I gotta say, I could feel his energy
Mm. Yes.
pulling, draining,
Mm.
and
Mm.
it's just like, in my mind, I got to block it a little bit. I'm there to help as much as I can, but wow, it was heavy, and I
Yes.
think
Yes.
once we turn our radar on to things like
Mm.
that, like you said, energy vampires, you're aware of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. That's right.
What's taking your energy?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We can identify it. So
How do
yeah.
you
Nah.
stay focused, Martin? How do you stay focused and we're talking about energy to apply it in a certain direction and keep it going in that direction and not let these distractions get in your way? Aside from no, that's one. But
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
we jump in our own rabbit holes, like looking at reels on
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we be intentional and write down
Mm,
your goals, for a month and then write them down for every day. So if you wrote something down every day of what you intend to bring about that day, what's going to happen, and the list might be 20 or 25 things. Now, you might only get half done, but you're going to get a lot more done than if you just kind of floating around and you're
yeah,
picking up the phone here, you're jumping on social media because you're giving yourself goals and boundaries to accomplish each day. Because you want, before you lay down in the bed, you want to be able to say, what did I accomplish today? And you can look at that list that you made and you can say, wow, I only got 3 things done. And then you're going to reflect, well, yeah, I was talking about basketball for an hour with my friend, or I was scrolling on social media. And you're going to identify the things that are holding you back.
totally, totally.
Yeah.
And you're gonna. I have a journal, and
Yeah.
I paid $8 for it.
Mm.
And there's other ones that are like 25, and it's kind of called the knockoff. It's a
Yeah.
gratitude journal, but on
Mm.
the page of every day
Yeah.
is not just things you're grateful for, but
Mm.
to what you just said, it breaks it down, kind of holds your hand. Three
Yeah.
things you're grateful for. Um, and then you fill in, I am, and that's your strengths for the day.
Mm.
I am creative.
Mm.
I'm resilient. And it
Yeah.
also says at the end of the day, right in the journal, it says, what would have made today better?
Mm.
And also it
Mm.
has, acts of kindness. What did you
Right.
do?
Right. Right.
So it does make you think, writing it down. Now it's in your face. You
Yes.
the two things, nobody can process this without seeing it in front of them and also doing it alone. You need a
Yeah.
coach to see the things that you don't see and maybe even pick out. Do
Mm.
you realize how much energy you're putting into that or that person? We might not even know what we're doing.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Energy is the key.
I
It's
love that.
abundance of
But it's
it.
true. It's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
How do we
yeah,
find you, Martin? Somebody wants to, put their energy in the right spot. How do they do
yeah,
that?
yeah. Well, on now on TikTok and Instagram, it's Masternomics Media. Follow me, follow the company. YouTube, go, check out all the information. We put out information like this, what we're talking about. And to contact directly, email masternomics1@gmail.com. So, definitely reach out. There's a lot that the company is doing in America and in Ghana, Africa also, as we're
Wow.
building a school to teach what we talk about, to teach people how to raise their consciousness.
Beautiful. That
Yeah.
is beautiful. I have to
Yeah.
tell you, I didn't reach out to somebody like you because I didn't know it existed.
Yeah.
And I did it on my own, with some help, some hypnotherapy, just to realize things. Um, Years,
Yeah.
even in this one podcast.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if that took me years to figure out,
Right.
and you explained it in 25 minutes.
Mm,
So
mm.
that's the difference when you've got somebody walking that journey with you.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Thank
That's
you so
it.
much for today, Martin. Really appreciate it.
Yes. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.